So, welcome back to the Michael Lofton Show on Reason and Theology. The excommunicated former Archbishop Vigano, formerly the Apostolic Nuncio from the Vatican to the United States, has initiated a lawsuit with the Vatican. And this came out just 2 days before the cardinals are going to elect the next pope. So it came out yesterday. So this is just hot off the press. And so far, not really a whole lot of people have noticed this. So I wanted to bring it to your attention. We're going to take a look at it and see what he says and what we know so far. He posted that he initiated this lawsuit on his Twitter. So he does have a press release statement that we're going to examine. Also, after that, what I want to do is just very briefly go over the guy who is claiming to be the Mahdi, the guy who's claiming to be the true pope, the guy that many people online are calling the Antichrist. Well, that guy, Abdullah, forget what his full name is, but y'all should probably know him by now with the several videos I've done on him and several others have. Well, this Abdullah guy responds to the question of whether or not he can perform miracles. And in the process of doing, he absolutely not only destroys his credibility, but completely contradicted himself, which I will demonstrate that to you today. Also, stay tuned for tomorrow. We will be covering the first conclave live, May 7th, 9:30 p.m. a.m. Central. We will see the College of Cardinals elect the next pope if the election is successful. If not, it will be likely the next day before they attempt to do so again. But we're going to be covering it live here. It should be 4:30 p.m. Rome time that they do that, which is 9:30 p.m. Central, or 9:30 a.m. Central, which is 10:30 Eastern AM. So tune in for that tomorrow. I'm going to create a show link and go ahead and, hit the subscribe button so you can stay in tune with what we're doing. So I'd appreciate your support if you can go ahead and do that now if you haven't already, and the like button. Be looking for that stream link here in just a little bit. Okay, so let me share my screen and let's take a look at what Vigano is saying. Again, Vigano was excommunicated, or he actually excommunicated himself, as I told people several years ago whenever he said that Francis is not the Pope and therefore he does not accept his papacy. I told y'all several years ago he has automatically excommunicated himself. A lot of people dismissed me, ignored me, didn't believe it. But I said, according to the Code of Canon Law, this is the crime of schism. It's the sin of schism, and there's an automatic penalty of excommunication for this. People ignored it. 1 year after I said that, to the day that I said that, 1 year to the day after I said that, the Vatican came out with a massive, explosive bombshell news that they confirmed he had excommunicated himself. So the Vatican didn't actually excommunicate him. They said that he excommunicated himself. So we saw that before, covered all that information. We went over why, what his response was, what led up to it, all that information. So now the former Archbishop, Apostolic Nuncio, now excommunicated, Vigano, is attempting to sue the Vatican. Let me share my screen and let's take a look, see what's going on. Okay, so on his Twitter, he posts this press release of Vigano. I gave a mandate to Attorney Augusto Sinagra with legal firm in Rome to file a lawsuit with the Civil Court of Rome against the Institute for the Works of Religion, IOR, of the Vatican. In the person of the previous directors general, and in the person of the current director general, Dr. Gianfranco Mami, along with a prelate of the Roman Curia. The lawsuit concerns an undue appropriation of very valuable assets deposited at the IOR that were intended to be used for works of charity. So evidently there were some assets given to them that were to be used for works of charity, but they were misappropriated, used in some kind of inappropriate way, from what I can gather. concerns an undue appropriation of valuable assets that were given to them that were intended to be used for works of charity. The Civil Court of Rome will be asked for an international rogatory so that the competent Vatican authorities order the preventive and precautionary seizure of the aforementioned assets. At the same time, all the expert opinions, in addition to those already acquired, necessary to assess the responsibility of the various people involved and the quality of their conditions and their conduct will be requested. Cardinal Pietro Parolin. Here's why I think this is happening, and I'll explain why. Pay attention. Cardinal Pietro Parolin, among the most favored papal appointees, that is, the most likely to be elected pope tomorrow, has been fully aware of the story and all its implications for some time. Also, on the impetus of the significant endorsement given to him by the Freemason former Grand Master of the Great East Lodge of Italy. His Eminence is well informed about the facts and all the events that in his time and even recently saw him involved and questioned. I consider it my duty to proceed through the courts to request the return of said goods, following a repeated denial by Cardinal Parolin to make reparation outside of court of the serious damage that has been caused to me. The cardinal will be, along with many others, also called as a witness to confirm what is already incontrovertibly proven from documents in my possession and also possessed by Cardinal Parolin himself. So, first of all, it's unclear what does Vigano have to do with any of this. He says that there were some assets that were deposited at the IOR, but they're being they were appropriated unduly. I mean, he's not being very specific, but what does this have to do with Vigano? Why is it Vigano initiating the lawsuit? What is his involvement here? What is his angle? Why is he the one bringing this forward? But more importantly, and most conspicuously, this was initiated 2 days before the College of Cardinals elect the next pope. The cardinal electors elect the next pope, right? This was May 5th, yesterday. They elect the next pope tomorrow. He himself notes that Cardinal Parolin is said to be the most likely candidate. He says that, right? And he then wants to say, well, Parolin was involved. He knew better, blah, blah, blah. And we're going after him. So is this really about assets? Is Vigano really concerned about assets that were appropriated unduly? Is this really a big concern of his? Or is this just simply an attempt for him to try to smear Parolin one day before he's potentially elected as pope? I think the answer is outrageously obvious. If he really cared about assets being misappropriated, it would not have been initiated yesterday. This would have been initiated way before yesterday. The fact it was just initiated right before, it just so happens that these guys might elect him pope, he comes out and smears with these accusations Parolin. That's what this is about. This is politics. This is him trying to smear a person who might be elected pope and is hoping by this that, well, maybe this will make some of the cardinal electors not vote for him, and maybe they can then get somebody else in there who might restore Vigano, maybe recommunicate him, bring him back into communion, restore him to his former position as nuncio, maybe. I don't know what his ideas are. He knows that if Parolin were made pope, that ain't happening. So might it be that his angle here is to somehow derail Parolin from getting elected so that he could hopefully get somebody in there who will then restore him to communion with the Catholic Church? Might that be the angle here? I think we all know the answer, right? I think it's outrageously obvious. conspicuous. So yeah, that's what we know so far. Not a whole lot more information was provided. Maybe he'll speak a little bit more about it. Maybe we'll hear something from Vatican News. So far, I haven't seen anything other than Vigano speak about this and initiate the lawsuit. So as details come, I'll keep y'all informed. I had to sneak this in before the information that we're reviewing tomorrow, because there's going to be a lot of chaos, a lot of stuff going on with the conclave, and so I felt it's important to go ahead and address this before we get caught up in that and forget about this. Keep in mind, this is what he did 2 days before a conclave. It's not a coincidence. Keep that in mind. This is the kind of person you're dealing with when you're dealing with someone like Vigano. This may come back to bite him. Things are a two-way street. Whenever you make civil and lawful accusations against somebody, be aware that it's a two-way street. I suspect that at some point there might be some people coming after Vigano. There might be some people in the Vatican who attempt to sue him. So keep that in mind as well. Things tend to be a two-way street. So you set something in motion, be aware others can come back and do the same to you, and you might not like it, but we'll find out what goes on with that. Number two, I wanted to show you something from, again, the guy who claims to be the Mahdi, claims to be the successor of Jesus, according to his words, claims to be the true pope, claims to be, you name it. He denies that he's the Antichrist. Some people call him that online. Others are saying that he's just a grifter. Be that as it may, he just came out with a short video on miracles. And he said something really interesting that I'm about to show you, because it completely contradicts what he just told everyone last week and completely contradicts his claim to be the true pope, to be the Mahdi, to be who he claims to be. And I'm going to show you that to you in 4K. So we're going to watch the so-called Mahdi, or as some people call him, the Antichrist. Again, I don't think he's the Antichrist, as some people think he is. We're going to watch him contradict himself in 4K. Are you ready? Let's do it. All right. Sharing my screen, and let's go ahead and make sure that audio is enabled so that you can hear it. And let's begin.
I think that miracles are not a way to discern whether or not somebody is appointed by God or not appointed by God.
Whoa! Full stop. Full stop. Miracles are not a way to determine whether or not someone is or is not appointed by God. Let me play it again.
Not a way to
successors.
I think that miracles are not a way to discern whether or not somebody is appointed by God or not appointed.
Dude, you literally told us the exact opposite last week. You told us that you had a miracle, that your disciples killed Pope Francis, and that was a miracle that testifies to you being who you claim to be. You said that. Watch.
And the Mahdi and the Mahdis are the proofs of Allah. And less than 24 hours later, a great miracle and sign occurred.
A miracle and sign. Oh, so miracles are signs of something, huh?
A sign no less great than the earth swallowing Korah. The earth swallowed the false pope. He was killed by the mere breath of the believers chanting Labbaik ya Abba Sadiq.
He claims that his followers went to the Vatican, St. Peter's Square, Easter Mass, the day before Pope Francis died. They raised banners about his cult, and that was the breath that killed Pope Francis, and Pope Francis died the next day. And that's proof that Pope Francis, was a false pope, and it's proof that this guy the guy who's claiming to be the Mahdi, is the true pope. That was his argument. You remember that? We watched that last week. We reviewed that. You clown. You clown. You fooled everyone with this stupid story. Some people were dumb enough to actually listen to you. You had something going for you, right? And then you clown. You just completely shot yourself in the face by undermining the very claim that you made. You said miracles validated who you are, and you said that this stupid event was somehow a miracle. We know it wasn't. There was a natural explanation. He was 88 years old and he was sick. There's a natural explanation. There was no miracle, but you claimed it was a miracle, and you said it validated who you are, and it showed that he was a false pope. You clown. We need to just put this on repeat over and over and over and watch him just contradict himself and undermine himself.
And the throne of falsehood was shaken. This miracle is no less significant than the one which occurred at the hands of the believers with Joshua, the son of Nun, alayhi salam, when their mere presence around the walls of Jericho and the sounds of their horns caused the mighty walls to collapse. It is no less important than the miracle of Elijah, alayhi salam, who called down fire from the sky to show the people where the truth lies and where falsehood is buried. And say,
to show what? Where the truth is and where falsehood is. Oh, so miracles are a testament to what is right and what is wrong, who worships God and who does it. Oh, okay.
Truth has come and falsehood has perished. Surely falsehood is ever bound to perish. God is with us, my believing brothers and sisters. He has made his choice clear, and he has honored us with this great sign.
Oh, he made his choice clear that you are who you claim to be because of this great miracle and sign. Oh, but you just told us over here that miracles are not a sign of God's approval.
That miracles are not a way to discern whether or not somebody is appointed by God or not appointed by God. And just
what?
I was like, the next question that we've received quite a lot was about miracles. And there's this question, which is that if Jesus performed miracles, his successor should be able to do the same. And we, as a community, have seen you performing miracles. We wanted you to comment on their question about the performing of miracles by the successors.
I think that miracles are not a way to discern whether or not somebody is appointed by God or not. Miracles are not a way to discern whether or not somebody is appointed by God or not. Miracles are not a way to discern whether or not somebody is appointed by God or not appointed by God. And just simply put, Christians and Muslims, they both believe that one of the greatest miracle workers that will ever walk on the earth is the Antichrist. That he does this in their traditions, many great miracles.
You clown. You clown. Look, if you're going to be a charlatan, be good at it, right? If you're going to be a deceiver, at least be good at deception. Don't be so stupid, right? Don't say things that completely undermine your own credibility. If you're going to do something, do a good job at it. That's my thing, okay? Now, I'm not saying that you should be a deceiver. I'm not saying that you should be a charlatan. But look, if that's what you want to do in life, go full on. Okay, give it your all. Don't half this, right? Don't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Stop it. What is wrong with you? You had something going here. You were deceiving people, and you could have kept bringing in those donations that we see here are being raised on the screen. As you can see right here, the Mahdi's manifesto has raised evidently $9,000. You could have kept bringing in more money. What is wrong with you? Obviously, I do not approve of charlatans, deception, raising money for falsehood. Clearly, I'm being sarcastic here, right? Clearly, I don't approve of any of this. But if I'm just saying, if you're gonna do it, do a good job at it. Be a Benny Hinn. Be a Kenneth Copeland. Give it your all. Don't go 1 week after you tell people that a miracle that wasn't a miracle is a validation of who you are. And then 1 week later, you tell people that miracles do not validate whether or not you're from God or not. Huh? What? Tears? You kidding me? He then told everybody at the end of that sermon that all Christians are now accountable. You're now morally responsible before God to assent to him and accept him as your leader, because God has proved through this miracle that he is who he claims to be. And then he tells you 1 week later, no, actually, these things don't prove or disprove anything, because even the Antichrist will be a miracle worker. And incidentally, he denies that he's the Antichrist. Dude, serious? Bruh. That's all I have to say at this point. BRUH. Bruh. I'm done with this guy. We need to just clip that part and play it over and over and over. Run it on a stream, a live stream 24/7. I'm done with this. Anyways, I had to sneak this with it. I just had to. And I'll take this. I'll make it its own highlight clip as well, so you can share that with all your friends. Anyways, going to be covering the situation with the conclave tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Central. So be ready for that. Start to look for a live stream link coming up pretty soon. Go ahead and click on it whenever you see it. Hit the bell for notification. In order to likely even see it, you need to hit the sub button right now. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell for notification, so you can know whenever I put that link up there, to be ready for coverage, live coverage of the conclave, and also for many other great material. That's going to do it for today. If you enjoyed this stream, please hit the like button and leave a comment in the comment section. We'll see you later. God bless.